Yeah, what comes up for me why you say this is actually a host of different things, but they're all like part of one story, and I'm gonna try to weave that together. Like, so one thing that has the more time passes, the more it strikes me as like super profound and comes back to me all the time, which is the hand gesture that went along with the book Sandtalk. Like the entire book starts with like the instruction that you put out both your hands. The left hand you do like this. These are like represent lines of a book. And then the right hand you hold more like this and open. And then if you put the right hand behind the left hand, then you can't see it. So like it's literally like the hemispheres of McGilchrist kind of thing, master and emissary. You can think about it like that. So this is kind of the domesticated view. It only sees kind of the closed, the well-defined, and is not able to interact at all with the ill-defined, with the living, breathing part of reality. Flip that around, and now you can see both through the I like also feminine, masculine here. It's also kind of good words, but through the feminine, translucent kind of living, messy perspective, you can still see the other thing. You can still value it and honor it and use it. So this to me is, it seems like a very, very profound kind of almost Taoist understanding that these are like these two, like yin yang, these two fundamental modalities, or omniscient transcendent, if you like, force language. And in the immanent metaphysics, there's actually a rigorous axiom, axiom two, which says there is a right way for these modalities to flow into each other, and the wrong way one creates potential, the other consumes it. And that's what I'm reading into it. I don't know if Forrest would subscribe to that, but to me, this gesture is like that's behind all of it, kind of like the domesticated view where you see separation, uh, primary, and then you can't see anything else. Like the wholeness is not, you cannot build the whole starting from parts. And this way you see the wholeness, and then it kind of refracts into these parts that you know are not fundamental, but you can still deal with. Hi there.
Beautifully said, David. That's a really awesome articulation, and the simplicity of using that hand gesture to represent that is, yeah, is brilliant. Yes, I get that, and that's seems to be like in in accord with that, with the image of the hyphae in relation to the mycelium in that exact sense. So I'm with you on the on that.
If
So
I
ca
quickly might add just like one part to this, so the mycelium that you brought up, I heard this the other day that uh, like fungi digest not outside in as we do, but inside out. So while they digest, they enrich the environment, something like that. And what you just were saying with that, there is this phenomena that someone at any like someone in the philosophical underground uh, kind of like to call it like the decentralized philosophy, DeFi revolution, but kind of like we're all like actors in this beautiful thing. And sometimes it can happen that you kind of do this, where it's like you have your set of definitions and stories basically, but you start to kind of, instead of, it feels to me almost like parenting done right or done wrong, where it's like you can clam, or what's the right word? Like you can grasp your child and kind of try to control it because you want it to be some certain way. So, and this is kind of becomes a toxic thing, or you can be like open and basically just want to foster the ability in your child that of choice making. Like you just want to hold space, and while it's necessary, do choices for your child with the transcendent goal of enriching its own ability to make its own choices, to become its most full expression of its true nature. And to me, relating to story is very similar. So it can be like, well, no, reality consists of, I don't know, Newtonian atoms, and these are the equations, and this is, I know this, so this is reality, and you just kind of force it to be like that. because fundamentally you're afraid of uncertainty. You're fundamentally paranoid about the unknown. So you try to reduce your reality to something that's well defined, but then you also close yourself off from others. So then you do like that outside in kind of digestion. Um, and interestingly, a closed system always strives towards entropy. Like the thermodynamics, there is truth in it, but it's not the whole story. It's just this edge case of domesticated mind, I would say.
Mhm.
Um, if you then do this, then it's more like all these stories, they're all not the thing. But rather than kind of pointing, like they're all just fingers pointing to the moon, but they can point towards the moon or away from the moon. So you can find better and better stories kind of to play with. And these are like all these kind of instruments that you can offer into the space, but everything is kind of grounded in this flowing, moving, ill-defined, beautiful mesh. Um, and yeah, so this type of shift seems to me necessary to really foster what some people call collective intelligence, or maybe there's some more poetic or spiritual, spiritual term for that, that less technical in collective intelligence, but this really becoming something far greater than the sum of the parts, I think is this is a necessary shift that needs to happen which is the shift to the relational, to kind of like defining yourself as the relation as an expression of the relational field rather as a separate identity that kind of like uh yeah something like that came up when you talked to him.